Today, when we are looking at the market and looking at these volatile movements, people are starting to ask like, was that really a fake out? Was it a trap to get your money in and run? Or can this really be the start of next rally? So what does the macro show you? The question now really becomes important because this can be a retest and a continuation to the greatest bull market we have seen, but we need to learn from the history and ask ourselves what are the odds. Here, what you are looking at is different possibilities which we will be analyzing through today to see how things actually evolve. And if you really zoom in on some of the stock market stuff, you will understand RSI does show you what's coming ahead. So if you take the note here, this is Microsoft breaking to the downside on RSI here. So you literally got the indication that something is going wrong. Take your money, get out. Now, where do you see the same right now? And is it a good indication for you in crypto market, or you should run? That's what we have to go through. So once you understand this, you are literally going to make that decision, which is highly informed. Look at this. That's dollar breaking to the downside, and you get that same break in the price action too. So do you actually agree that history rhymes and repeats in different assets? If so, you are going to find this analysis really interesting. This is the scientific investor family, where the normal common retail guys come and learn how to become the next top 10% of the world. When you see these kind of breakouts, am I saying we are going to run all the way up to the sky? No, because yes, you do see it breaking higher. You do see the RSI breaking through a level which it didn't break from last 600 days, or that was a resistance which is being broken right now. But if you go learn things and you're like, okay, we got this, which actually was a bearish pattern, but it happens to break higher, it does meet its target and then come back, retest this level before it actually makes a higher high and a new trend to go higher. So if you take that position into the Bitcoin chart, this is your measured move, and as we are on a horizontal line, you can expect the same level here, which is going to be somewhere close to 30,000. So that is going to be an important milestone to see. One, on a 3-day chart, you're breaking to the upside, and you already got a bullish divergence here with the RSI and price. Look at this. The price is at the horizontal level where the RSI is trending higher. That really gives you an idea. Then you go on a weekly chart, which for me is really important to see when a weekly chart breaking higher like this. This is just opposite to what we talked about in dollar. Dollar is breaking lower. This one is breaking higher. Now you can take it as you want, but that for me is a bullish stance in the market. Now you're looking at XRP. This is a 4-hour chart, so it's a zoomed in version, short-term view. So you kind of see like, okay, there is a possibility we are trading like this. We kind of broke higher. We made this pattern. We bounced, but right now we are coming back down. So as you come back down, your first level of support will be here, 0.45. But if that does not hold, that's the next question. Where can you see the price going? Can the price action really go all the way down here? No one knows. But right now, the odds are higher to say like, okay, the range of 0.4 is going to be strong. You have a lot of price action here, which is really important to keep an eye on, because right now, the pattern which we are focusing on here is what you just saw in Bitcoin, but that broke higher. The RSI broke higher. If you come here for XRP, say it's a 12-hour chart, but you still get the point which we are trying to make here. The price action did break to the downside, not the upside through the moving averages. Whereas here it's breaking through the moving average on a 3-day chart, which is important. Fine. Now, what is the real point which you need to understand? We got a double bottom, agreed. Altcoin market got a double bottom. It bounced, came back to the exact range. It retested that zone. And it's bouncing, it's breaking through this range, which is really interesting because this can be a breakout of short-term, medium-term resistance, or both of them combined. Because if you look at this resistance, this happens to be previous support and right now a resistance. So that was broken here, and most likely the retest is going to come here. That's one. Or the second chance, this line which you see here, you broke higher, you may come back, retest and bounce. Because the RSI actually shows you that it broke higher. Zoom in, look at this. It came back, retested and bounced. That does mean something, which we saw in different markets. Then you come on to Ether. You see a pattern being formed here. You broke to the upside. This happens to be your resistance here. Then you came back to that level as a support. And when you get a bullish pattern on a support, that's something really interesting for anyone to look at, right? You're looking at this. This is the double bottom. Then you bounce, you do retest. Sometimes, yes, the retest comes way far like this. You do a double bottom, you go up. It does not actually retest the exact range, but it still gives you an idea where it's going. So here you did the retest clearly. Great. So you actually got that in great form. But here it went up. It did this retest after going some up. Now it can also be short term like this, but taking your time to look at how the market reacts in different asset class does work. Because right now you're observing this pattern in different crypto assets. You are inside this and some of those broke higher. Now they are retesting. So if this pattern remains the same, what you're going to look at is a run to the upside in some of those currencies, right? Now we come back to XRP and you ask that same question. Okay, we just observed that you broke higher. You're coming back down. So if you are saying I missed the opportunity before buying this breakout, now you may actually get an opportunity. Now that's the best case scenario if you are looking to buy more. Now, if you are like, no, I already packed my bags, I just want the price to go up. What we want to see is a bounce from this range, making it a bull flag and then breaking higher. That would actually give you much more advantage, saying this is a bull flag, which actually has around 70% measured move to the upside. That will be great. But on this note, what we have to right now understand is the MACD is trying to cross to the downside, but the RSI did not break to the downside. It does have room to the downside. So we do have to look at that and say like, okay, that really shows you some possibilities. Now, on the long-term view, when you come back to the same thing, you need to ask this question to yourself, whether you agree or not. What we are trying to look at is the reality. You look at these as price action, resistance, supports, and you say, okay, if I'm taking a line here, say a vertical line, and putting that close to the breakout, do I get an idea of the price is going to break higher before it breaks higher using RSI? I personally strongly believe that it shows that it is going to break higher. Even before the volume came in, you did that. Now with the breakout, you got volume. That's what actually matters, is show you that there is a lot of people who really understood that this is going to break higher. They bought in. That is a great thing to see. Now, if the price is dropping, 0.4 is going to be a great range to look at. But next thing is what we are right now going to observe is macro stuff. This will really play out for sure, because when you're looking at the institutions entering at these ranges where the price is so low, and I don't actually think, even though they can buy Bitcoin and Ether right now, they may first look at this and they may try something and they will also come to realize that this is bullshit. If you want to pay $5 as fee for one project and your gas fee is 6.23, which is higher than the actual fee, developers will have to move on, and that may not be so long. So I'm not saying it's just going to be XRP Ledger. There's going to be a lot of different competitors, but not Ether for sure. So you're going to see, now why is that really important? Because all these other projects which I'm mentioning here have much lower market capitalization compared to Ether, and you see a ton of volume on a daily basis here, which will move to the other projects which have valid use cases and they are solving something clearly, right? Now we go see Wall Street Journal, and this is from Ripple being put there on an ad. Yes, they are paying to put this one there, but it do work for institutional guys. So when institutional investors are entering here and they watch this, they will be thinking, okay, what's this about, if they don't actually know? But most likely they all know it. Now, I'm actually taking you guys through the other side of the spectrum, which is macro, which actually shows some of these governments are going to start giving money. Some already started. Some of these are like stimulus going to come out in different areas of the world, and it all looks something similar. Money coming into the market. It can be in different names, but it does show you where we are headed. A lot of people ask, like, where can the money come from? But we understand some central banks who did not start hiking early are right now ramping it up, right? They're doing the best they can, pushing all the way up, right? We see the same in different ranges as well. But on the other side, you see others who are kind of slow compared to others. They are like, okay, we'll do this much right now. And you actually see the same here too, right? They actually wanted to do 75, but they came out doing 50. So the stuff is now changing. And that being said, if you are looking at this and saying, okay, that's a possibility, imagine in 1 week what's going to be the impact. If Fed is going to join these central banks like Canada, Australia, and say we are going to slow down a bit and see how the interest rate hikes will be impacting the market in next 3 to 6 months, and then decide. That's 6 months where you see dollar slow down. We just got that weekly confirmation from the RSI. We are breaking to the downside. You actually got this major corrective action, which looks strong. Now, are we going to do that on a daily basis? Everything strong down without any retest? Most likely no, because if you are literally taking all this out and just looking at the moving average and saying, okay, what should I look at? You're breaking to the downside. You may retest that and then drop. But if you get a lot of attention, you may continue back to the upside. So right now what we are eyeing is going to be a retest here or another strong range of retest here. Will we hold this level or go lower? We don't know. There's a daily chart. We'll have to sit and wait. But one thing which I would argue here is that you look at this. This is one top being put. There's another top. For me, that's a lower low. There's a first bottom being put here. This second one, that's a lower low. We want to see whether this end up as a bull flag, which would be bullish for dollar, or we break to the downside. That's going to be really important here. Now, that being said, you go back to all this and you say like, okay, I do see macro changing. I do see markets can do wonderful stuff if you are here, because you look at this and say, okay, this is breaking lower, crypto is breaking higher, you see a lot of opportunities. But you will get these corrections. Believe me. Now, if you are looking at this and saying, okay, that was a nasty correction, it was. But what happened afterwards is what makes it interesting. Now, this is stock market. The time span taken here is huge. But what we are talking about is technology, where the time taken for these actions are really smaller than what we wish, right? Real investors say, okay, in 10, 20 years, I'm going to look for this outcome. In crypto, that happens in 3 to 5 years. So if you are here in this market and looking at this and saying like, okay, RSI broke higher, we are trending higher, this is an opportunity, you can absorb it like that. But if you are like, okay, it does not look good for me, this is a fake rally, it's completely up to your judgment. But I would personally say look for a retest, and if the price is bouncing from the moving average, take it seriously. So guys, If you received value for your time, please do hit that like and subscribe button. And if you're looking for these kind of updates and a lot of different assets which are trending higher, breaking out, you can look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below, where you see all these breakouts coming in and you can take that well-educated decision.